I have a history of miscarriages. So getting the injection for me was like, whoa, I'm heavily pregnant. I was pregnant at the time. I didn't want the vaccine because, again, I was really concerned about how that would affect me. And they basically said, well, if you don't take the injection, then you've lost your job. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, like what do I do? I had the headspace to think of, if you wasn't a nurse, what would you actually do?
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Happy Investor Podcast with me, Sophie. And I've got a special guest today who is Esther. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm well.
Good.
Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you. It's nice to see you again.
Thank
Um,
you.
so, for the listeners who don't know you yet, can you give us a bit of background, introduce yourself, and tell us a bit of your story?
Yes, definitely. So my name is Esther, as you mentioned. I am a property investor, nurse turned property investor. And my transition was very interesting. So I went into property at a time in my life that was quite challenging, actually. I was working as a nurse. There was this big thing about COVID at the time and getting the injections. Now, background, I have a history of miscarriages. So getting the injection for me was like, whoa, I'm heavily pregnant. I was pregnant at the time. I didn't want the vaccine because, again, my history and the fact that I was pregnant, I was really concerned about how that would affect me. And they basically said, well, if you don't take the injection, then you've lost your job. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, like what do I do? And luckily for me, I went on maternity leave, and for the first time, that was like the very first time I had the headspace to think of, if you wasn't a nurse, what would you actually do? So I used that time to really think about what I would do if maternity ended and you didn't have a job, basically. And that's kind of how I got into property. So there I am with my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old, running around looking for properties. Well, not 2-year-old, newborn. She was newborn at the time.
Amazing. So, what was the first kind of property stuff you did?
So I'd actually bought a property which I initially wanted to live in, but I wouldn't say that I was into property. That was just, I bought it. I decided I wanted to rent it out because I found out I was pregnant during conveyancing, and I knew that I'd go on maternity. So I thought it'd be wise to just rent it out to kind of help me like during maternity. But I wouldn't say that was like a strategic move. That was more like, oh yeah, well, this can help for a little while sort of thing. So what I was doing was rent to rent. I started
Mm.
with rent to rent. So getting consent from the landlords to rent the house, like doing Airbnb. However, when the penny dropped was the property that I bought, it rented out for 6 months, but the tenants paid 6 months up front.
Nice.
And I thought, hold on a minute. How do I make this a thing? Because money's coming in and I'm not having to work as much as I was in my active role. And I thought, hold on, how do I actually make this a lifestyle? And that's when I took it seriously. That's where the penny dropped. And I thought to myself, I'm going to do training. I'm going to invest in my learning, do this professionally. Just started to do a little bit more research into it. Like, how do I actually make this a thing? Then I
Mhm.
started to do the maths. If I earn £4,000 a month and I can get £1,000 a month per property, then I've replaced my income. And literally, it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to look at it on a spreadsheet, don't you, and go,
Yeah.
actually, I just get this many because I did rent to rent. I've just sold my rent to rent business, and
Ah,
it's
okay.
it's quicker to get into than buying property, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sign stuff up really quickly. You can get cash coming in, scale it, automate it, systemize it. So have you
exactly.
still got your rent to rent sites?
I don't. I
No.
don't. I think once I kind of like got into it, I just thought one with like the B triple R model, which is what I focus on now, and HMOs, is you benefit from capital appreciation. You also benefit from rental income, and I think that was more like the
Yeah.
direction I was going. And I think most people, from my experience and what I observe, is they get into rent to rent as a stepping stone to then like get bigger projects. But I found out very quickly that actually I could raise money. So my thing is, if you want to get into rent to rent as a business, as cash flow, absolutely fine. But if it's that you want to get into rent to rent as a stepping stone to then gather money, to then get into bigger projects,
Yeah.
I just feel that there's more creative ways
Yeah.
to do that. So, and at the time, that was my goal. That my goal was to acquire enough money to then buy bigger projects. But after doing my training, investing in myself, I learned that actually I could raise money. So I didn't need that anymore. So I didn't like get rid of it. But once my leases ended, I just didn't renew them. So I
Yeah.
just forced them onto other investors who were looking for rent to rent properties. And I just focused more on raising capital, buying property, raising capital, buying property, because you will raise way faster than you would save to buy property.
So tell us about how you did your first fundraising for your first project.
They're very interesting. So I'd never raised money in my life. So it was a new pond. I'm a nurse. What do I know about raising funds? But I'd done a lot of studying. I'd joined masterminds. I'd invested in my learning. So I had that confidence. And I was around people who was raising money all the time. So if they can do it, I can do it. So that was very encouraging. So I just put it online. And because I'd built that credibility, if you like, or that sort of history of documenting my journey with my Airbnbs and everything. So people knew that I was into property. And I just kind of said, look, I'm transitioning from Airbnb to BRRR, and I'm raising funds. And I just put it online, told everybody what I was doing. And I got interest. My first investor was actually someone from Instagram who I didn't
Wow.
really know. Yeah, didn't know, 30K investor. Didn't know her. However, she was a commenter. So she's someone who was always commenting on my posts. What I didn't know is we had a lot more in common than I thought, and that's why she was following me. So she's a student nurse. So she connected with me in that way. And she was also into property. So she's thinking, oh, a nurse, also into property. We're similar age.
Yeah.
She also lived in the area that I had my first Airbnb. So again, she knew a lot about me that I didn't really know about her, and she already connected with me. So when I'd put it out that I was looking for investors, I knew that she would be in a networking event, because we were kind of like all in the same circle. So I was like, gosh, I got to make sure that I'm there. And I just kind of like nudged her. I was like, oh, do you know what? You helped me. I helped you, because she was looking for a rent to rent deal some years ago. I helped her with that. And I just gave her a little nudge. I was like, oh, I helped you with your first deal. Maybe you can help me with mine. And she was like, oh yeah. I was like, no, I'm being serious. And
But it's
then
about relationship building, isn't it?
yeah, but I actually found her through Instagram. So that was that. And then so that was 30K. I was raising 100K. I then got picked up by Channel 4 to do a documentary about properties. And they picked me up because I documented about breastfeeding on the hard shoulder with my newborn. And they're like, what is going on? Why are you breastfeeding on hard shoulder? Why are you looking for properties? And I was like, well, I might lose my job. So I'm looking for properties so that I don't need to like potentially get sacked and not have any money. So that was documented. Now that helped me raise even more money, because once that got publicized, I then got a bit more traction,
Yeah. Visibility.
which then obviously attracted more investors, because at that point I knew strategy, right? So I'd picked up the keys, didn't have the money for the refurb yet. Risky, don't recommend, don't do that. But I just knew, when you just know you believe in yourself so
Yeah.
much. It's
You
like you
make it
just know.
happen.
Yeah, I'm going to figure it out. Like this is going to happen. So I knew that one, picking up the keys would get a bit of traction because naturally, if you post keys online, you get traction. So that you use that to the best of your ability. And then the week after, a new Channel 4 was coming out as well. Again, use that traction. So as soon as I picked up the keys, again, was really showcasing the opportunity, got some traction, got some investors. Then I knew, okay, Channel 4 was coming out. Again, got some traction, got some investors. And that's how I raised my first 100K.
That is amazing. And for
Mm.
people who don't know BRRR, can you break it down?
So buy, refurbish, rent, refinance. And the model is you buy a property, and the aim is you buy below market value. So often people look at me and say, Esther, why the hell would you buy that? And that's
Mhm.
because I know I can add value. So, for
Yeah.
example, one of the projects I'm working on now, if I buy a property that's below market value, usually smelly, very run down. If it's a three bed, I can convert the three bed to a six bed and release the equity and use that pot of money to go again and go
Yeah.
again and go again.
So actually, is it the first raise of finance that is the hardest?
I
Because
would
then you can
say
start
so.
recycling.
I would say so because it's new, it's about confidence, like building that confidence. Um, I would say even after that though, sometimes you might feel a bit stuck. You might feel like, oh gosh, I've exhausted my network. Who do I go to now? Even though you've done it before, it's like, well, they know I've done that now. So like, who do I go to now? But I think it's about staying close to the fire, being around people that are doing what you're doing or further than you. Because when you hit that sort of like grey area, it's like, well, if you're around people doing the same thing, they've probably very much likely experienced the same thing that you've experienced. So you're literally a phone call away to kind of sorting out whatever roadblock or bottleneck that you're experiencing.
Yeah, 100%. That's so important. And how many projects have you done now?
Oh, so I've done quite a few, although they're kind of like scattered. At the moment, I've got a few in the pipeline. Altogether, I've kind of got rid of some. So I would say I'm still at the beginning of my journey, so five-ish. I've got a few in the pipeline that I'm working on. Yeah,
And
and
that's all happened in like the last 5, 6 years?
oh no, I started 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah,
Nice.
3 years ago. 3 years ago. It's three. It's my daughter's born.
And
Yeah.
have you now replaced your nursing income from property?
I have, however, I have, but I then because I'd left nursing, but recently I got an opportunity in the healthcare sector. So it's nothing to do with property. So I've actually started a new business in health.
Nice.
Because I was quite senior in my role, and often I do think, how can you monetize your expertise? How can you
Yeah.
monetize, like, if there is that thing behind my head where it's like, you was very senior, is that going to go to waste? Like, what we
Mm.
can do with that? You need to do something with it. And I did get presented an opportunity. It's just that thing where you think about things and naturally your eyes tend to kind of look for those things and then it just kind of like gets attracted to, like
Yeah.
you attract it basically. Um, so at the moment, I've got my hands in a few pies. So I've got the health hat on now. That was as of September. That's kind of new. And then property. So I'm just like balancing the two.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. It's all about multiple streams of income, I think. Because
110%.
property can be so up and down, can't it? Like you can raise 100 grand, then spend all of it, then owe some money, then another massive tranche will come in, then you'll have nothing. So I think it's really
100%.
good to have, a little side hustle, another business, something bringing in that consistent cash flow as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. And it was an opportunity I couldn't turn down. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in.
I feel like
And
you're
it
being
doesn't
a
stop
bit
me.
mysterious about this. Do you need to tell us what it is?
Do you know, it's just complicated to explain. So basically, in a nutshell, it's me using my expertise to offer consultations for a company. So I
Yeah.
offer my consultation, my expertise, I send invoice and they pay me for my time.
Great. So you're doing consultancy.
Yeah, consultants in a nutshell,
Yeah.
consultancy for other healthcare agencies.
Nice. That's amazing. So what are your plans for the rest of the year then? What are you excited about?
More projects, bigger projects. I've got some HMOs that I'm working on at the moment. Article 4 is kicking my butt at the moment.
Mhm.
But again, nothing we can't handle. Just more of the same, really. More of the same. I'm someone who's like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, and my mental's like, if it's working, you don't need to more
Yeah.
of the same for now. And
Mm.
then, like you can go on to do other stuff. Oh, no, I want to do this and I want to do that. Cookie cutter, bang, 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 bang. If it's not
Yeah.
broken, don't fix it. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Do what you're good at because, yeah, you're really entrepreneurial. And I think we're quite similar in that you just start getting a bit bored once you've done it and you're like, right, what's the next new thing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have
But it was
you?
like, do you know what? If it works, why are you changing the strategy? You've done it here. Keep it there. Do the same thing. You could literally do it with your eyes closed. I'm like, oh no, but what about over there? No,
Mm.
keep to it. So
Yeah.
more of the same.
So, if there are people out there going, this sounds amazing, I reckon I could raise some finance and do my first property project. What kind of projects do you look for? What would you recommend? Is it a bungalow to a three bed? Is it a three bed to a six bed? Like, what should people be looking for their first deal?
I think it just depends on their goal. So it would be reverse engineering what your goals are. So I usually start with, okay, how much do you want to earn? And let's look at, for example, a buy to let typically would profit about £200 a month
Mm.
after mortgage. A HMO, a small HMO, typically would profit about 600 to £1,000. That's a small HMO. So for me, it's about reverse engineering. How much do you want to earn? If you just want to earn an extra £200, and it's like, okay, well, let's look at buy to let. Look, buy to let, maybe free bed, a free bed like a fixer upper, renting that out. Or if you're kind of like just going in, head in, like myself,
Mm.
it's, well, actually, I want to scale aggressively. I'm going to look into HMOs. People
Mm.
often believe they can't go straight into HMOs. That's not true. Obviously, it does require a bit more risk and a bit more regulations in terms of meeting requirements, meeting regulations, room sizes, and things like that.
Mhm.
But it's doable.
Yeah.
So I would say I would start with like what your goals are, what you want, how much you want to earn, and if it
Mhm.
is an extra 200, it's like, well,
Oh, you've disappeared. Oh, I can't hear you. Your sound's gone. Are you
oh,
back?
can you hear me now?
There you are. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I would
Things
look
went
at
bubble.
how much, yeah, I'd look at how much I want to earn. And if it was a HMO, you would say, okay, I want to replace my income. I want to earn £1,000 a month minimum. I would be looking at a small HMO.
Hmm. Yeah, amazing. I love it. And what do you do for you? How do you make sure you're not working all the time and burning out? How do you relax and do
I'm
things?
gonna be honest, this is something I'm working on. I'm not
Yeah.
very good at it. I'm not good at it. However, occasionally I would close a laptop and take myself off to a spa. I do love a spa. I do love a massage.
Yeah. Same.
I do like a nice hotel where I do struggle with it though, because there's like a relaxation place and you would find me like editing a video or I've got the laptop there.
Yeah.
My mind's like, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Um, but rest is definitely necessary.
Yeah.
Um, and on a good day, I would actually book a holiday.
Yeah. Have you got any holidays booked in?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, do it. Book a holiday.
Yeah, I've got a staycation booked,
Yeah.
not a holiday. I should actually. I've got one mentally booked. I just need to actually do
Yeah,
it.
do it. Definitely do it. It's so nice to have something in the diary, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining today. It's always amazing to hear your story. Where
Thank
can
you.
people find you if they want to get in touch?
Yes, so I'm on Instagram, Alafia Properties, Estelara. I'm on LinkedIn, Estelara. I'm on TikTok, Estelara. Everything's Estelara.
All the things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll put them all on the podcast show notes so people can come and say hi. And thank you again for coming.
Thank you very much. And if anyone has plans that they would like to put to use or they would like to get involved in a project, definitely reach out. We can make it work.
Yes, do that raising finance all the time.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much. Take care.